Okay, so apparently a lawyer has once again, and I'll never get tired of this content, legal mindset, Andrew Esquire, has called out Hamas, Diddy, Osama bin Laden, Adolf Epstein, Baby Oil Piker for once again lying on people's names and saying that I believe he could be in a little bit of legal trouble. So let's see what's going on. And let's see what our boy Andrew's getting himself into, going against Hasan, the worst streamer in all of America. He's a socialist with a Gucci bag. Let's see what's going on. So handsome. Oozes swag. Hey.
Hasan has slandered me, committed some defamation in response to my reaction to what was going on with Twitch and the situation with Twitch. So today I'm going to respond to that publicly, clear up some of that misinformation, and also talk about some hot water that Hasan may be in legally in the state of California. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is the legal mindset we teach you to be your own judge. So
this shit with Hasan will not end until he faces the long dick of the law. He needs to get fucking sued. Everything about Hasan is him talking about his viewers, his success, and his money. If someone takes that away, he has nothing. He has literally nothing. Well, then again, his daddy will probably just refill up his bank account like he's been doing for years.
Typically, my policy overall with defamation, with people that engage in defamation, is just to ignore it, is to pass it by, is to really pay it no mind, particularly if they're smaller channels and smaller people. Really to...
You want to know why whenever this lawyer comes at Hasan, Hasan doesn't argue with any of the logic he's using, he just insults him? It's because he knows the person's right, and he's desperate for anything to make his community not understand that he just got butt fucked by the law.
Ignore that at large. However, when a channel of 1.7 million people spreads false information about yourself, clearly not having watched a single one of my videos or really knowing much about me, it seems, other than what the most deranged antis might try to cook up, there is some need.
Chat, leave a comment. What crime is Hasan gonna accuse you of? Top one gets a heart by me. Like, comment, subscribe.
To respond to that. And also, there is a need to bring up some very real legal trouble that Mr. Piker may be in regarding California, especially as some individuals look to come against him. So first of all, we're going to start by reviewing the defamation itself. And this does come in the form of a video, which I have right here for you guys. And this is Hasan kind of responding.
Also, very good that Andrew Esquire already understands how to handle criticism. I'm going to break this down for you. If there's a larger content creator talking about you, you always respond. Always. You always respond. If there's a smaller content creator talking shit about you, you never respond. Unless you can completely eviscerate them in 30 seconds or less. Farm a couple W's, get an easy dunk, and you swat that fly out of your fucking life. It's really easy. Then there's the crazies. And to the crazies, you never respond. Ever. You want to know why? Because it makes them crazier. And that's the funniest part.
To his chat and talking about me and why he's not going to review my videos. And I just want to start out by saying I love the fact that you're going to see immediately how he jumps to ad hominem. Because
ad hominem means talk shit.
As ad hominem
where they insult the user rather than address their claims.
Personal attacks, when used as a debate strategy or when used to rebuke someone, actually represent a concession. That actually means you are incapable of making a legal argument or an objective argument or an informed argument or in any sort of educational argument. You're simply trying to discredit someone personally to get around the fact you lack the capacity.
That's what Hasan does. He realizes he can't debate with people's actual sound arguments, so he just says, yeah, well, you're a rapist. Yeah, well, you're a pedophile. Yeah, well, you killed your mom. Yeah, well, you burned an orphanage. Yeah, well, you're gay. All right, dude.
capacity to actually argue. And so I actually don't take offense to that. I'm very used to it, having been on the internet for years now. So we'll get into this video and the thoughts by Mr. Piker.
Dude, there's something so funny about people being like, dog, have you seen the legal mindset video about you? Dude, if I were to cover every Rumble lawyer, fake lawyer that it actually is.
So let's stop right there. Okay, so Rumble lawyer is very interesting. And I think he may mention Rumble again. While I do have, I guess, still a Rumble account, I haven't uploaded it to years. I don't stream on Rumble. I only stream on YouTube, primarily as a major platform. I've tried the others. I don't like them. Rumble, just as a comment, initially offered a very good package contractually to stream on their platform, good advertising packages. That fell off way back towards the COVID days. So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. Now, fake lawyer is interesting, and I want to throw out here that that's possibly the most defamatory thing.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to give Mr. Piker some credit here, because perhaps he knows nothing about me or knows nothing about the law. Well, clearly he knows nothing about the law or what words mean. Lawyer is anybody with a law degree, whether or not they're licensed and practice law. So anybody who's gone to law school is indeed a lawyer. Now, attorney is someone above lawyer. You could say that word is perhaps not interchangeable, but similarly related insofar as they are not only a lawyer, not only do they have a law degree, but an attorney has to be licensed to practice in their state. I'm licensed to practice in the state of Florida. So I am both a lawyer and an attorney above that. So thinking about that logically as a little bit of education, all attorneys are lawyers, but not all lawyers are attorneys.
Sure.
So there you go, Mr. Piker. That's the language. So that statement is indeed false, right? That I am a quote unquote fake lawyer because I indeed possess a law degree from the University of Florida. So that statement in the future would be defamatory. And with Mr. Piker, we do have to remember, and with myself and other figures, is that we are all public figures. So we follow the New York Times versus Sullivan standard. We have a higher standard for defamation than the normal private individual. So now that that's been clarified publicly for Mr. Piker, and that he will well know that that information is false and defamatory, to continue to do so would perhaps incur liability on the part of Mr. Piker. But let's.
What he's saying is, Hasan, is he dares you to call him that again, because if you do, he is going to fuck your ass, your terrorist-loving ass, legally. I will be this lawyer's anger translator. He's saying, say it again, you little bitch. I dare you. I double dare you.
Let's continue to see what he has to say about me. This is fun.
Like a fucking right-wing freak that spends most of their time talking about like trans people.
So that's very interesting. So I will say this. Most of my time talking about trans people, the issues I have been covering lately have been the Ethan Klein lawsuit, have been Johnny Somali, have been Vitali. Now, unless you are counting something with Somali or Vitali as a trans issue, which I would struggle to understand how that would fit in, then yeah, that's not at all what my content has been about.
Yeah, if you'll notice with every type of critique that has been directed towards Hasan, Andrew Esquire, very handsome, by the way. Your mom would agree. She talks about how handsome you are quite a bit. Your words, not mine. I'm not insinuating I've done anything with your mother. I'm just letting you know I called you handsome the other day, and then you said your mom would agree. I'm just quoting you. Please don't sue me. Thank you very much. Wanted to clarify that for the court. Everyone listening at home, I was not insulting the lawyer. I am not that dumb. I don't feel like getting my ass sued. Not by this guy. I'm good. What was I saying? I got afraid of a lawsuit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Hasan, whenever he addresses his critiques, he doesn't watch his critiques before he addresses them, because God forbid he plays anything going against him on his own stream in any way, shape, or form. He's too afraid to do that because he's a spineless bitch. I agree.
Then yeah, that's not at all what my content has been about for the past years. So very interesting thing. Also, I keep politics out of my streams, and it's particularly over the last year, definitely last 6 months and a year, I have endeavored to keep my streams as objective and educational and make it a environment where everybody is welcome. Even people who like Hasan Piker are welcome in my chat, so long as they are civil, so long as they keep the conversation from violating the terms of service of the platform,
Sure.
because I indeed do care about abiding by the terms of service of the platform. That is, you are welcome in my chat, whether you're right, left, center,
little
whether you're
slight.
apolitical, whether
Nice
you don't care about
sneakness.
politics. It doesn't matter at all to me. I care about the law and educating people on the law. That's the core of my channel. So let's continue.
I would lose my mind. I would have no time to cover anything else. I get it. A lot of you are drama perverts, okay? And you nut when you think about the prospect of drama.
Brother, Hasan, you're a drama pervert. You come at the idea of having Asmon on your stream. Why the fuck do you think you slid into the steak and egg special when it was supposed to be just us and Will Neff? I believe I was actually cordial enough to say, sure, we can do it with Hasan. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. I could be wrong. I need to find those DMs. I do. I need to find those.
But I'm not.
I will say, I actually do not like drama. And in fact, on my channel, I try
Because I wanted to talk to Hasan about anime, because I heard he liked anime.
to avoid drama. In fact, even in
Why does Nick and Miz like this guy? To be real, I actually don't think Nick likes Hasan at all. Miz will be cool with anybody he thinks he can leech off of, right? I mean, obviously he needs more viewers, right? That's this whole thing. It's like, not saying he's like low on viewership. I'm just saying that Miz gets depressed. Like, Miz will get depressed at having 18,000 viewers, right? He will. It's like, oh my God, my fucking stream's fucking dead, right? Like, he's a guy who needs more viewers to validate his own self-worth, right? Nick, I think Nick actually supports Hasan as a joke because Nick needs to be hated. I think there's something wrong with him to where I feel like Nick tries to get people to hate him with his entire being. I don't know why he does it. I really don't know why he does it. But I do really think Nick gets off at being hated. I don't get it.
carrying out my behaviors, I try to make sure that I am focusing more on the legal aspects of things rather than the dramatic elements, the interpersonal problems, the stuff that people did. I try to focus on the legal elements of a story. Now, sometimes to
You're the same, right? Oh, so here's the thing. Here's the big difference. People hate Nick because he says the dumbest shit 24/7. People hate me because I've been labeled a fucking rapist. Which, by the way, that's kind of hard. That's kind of like a big barrier to entry. You know, that's some crazy shit that I've been labeled as by the internet. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty fucking tough to overcome how much I've been, slandered my entire career. It's pretty bad.
get to the legal
Disproven, yeah, but people don't give a fuck about that.
elements, you have to give background, you have to give context, because things don't make sense in context, without context. However, yes, I would agree with Hasan that I don't like drama, but what Hasan tends to define as drama, and what it appears he's defining as drama, is anything that disagrees with the things he's doing. So by somebody saying what you are doing is objectively risking lawsuits, it's objectively wrong, or for example, saying that, hey, your orbiters, Denims and Frogan, they're gonna lose under copyright infringement, here's the explanation of the law. Apparently, that's drama, to objectively educate people on the law. That's a new definition of drama to me, and I don't know what you guys.
He just made it up. Trust me, he has new definitions for words like, what's the other one? What's the one for people who believe that Israel can exist? Zionist. Yep. Yeah, and Nazi. He also calls anybody a Nazi who he disagrees with. It's great. Yeah, but he just makes up words as, well, you know what? I feel like it means this today. It's great, man. Because his daddy always told him, yes, Hasan, you can do whatever you want. Now, here you go. Blow up an orphanage.
Think, chat.
Going to pay any mind or any attention to some fucking psychotic MAGA lawyer, not a real.
It's hilarious because Legal Mindset gets like 10 to 11,000 viewers on YouTube. And Hasan would be jumping at the bit to debate him or have him on his stream if he thought he had any legs to stand on whatsoever. But he knows Andrews Esquire's cock is so huge that Hasan would get bent over and impregnated so fucking hard by this lawyer.
Lawyer, but a passport bro.
So, okay, That's real interesting. Once again, he repeats the defamation, saying I'm not a real lawyer, which is indeed wrong.
Yep.
And it's interesting, and MAGA, of course, don't bring up politics. That I've never talked about that at all recently at all. But beyond that, Passport Bro is interesting. Because the definition of a passport bro is typically someone that would visit a location for a short period purely for sexual purposes.
Isn't that so interesting that Hasan is calling Andrew Esquire a passport bro when Hasan got a passport so he could go to Germany to visit a brothel where there was children present? Sex trafficked children present? Isn't that absolutely psychotic? How this is the guy calling him a passport bro.
And for anybody who knows anything about me, I'm a long-term resident of several countries in Asia. I've been a resident of the Republic of South Korea, the Kingdom of Thailand, the Philippines, and Japan. These are all wonderful, amazing countries, and I do help people obtain legal visas and legal residence long-term in these countries because they appreciate the culture, the lifestyle, the quality of life, the peace, the safety, the tranquility. These are amazing things about living in Asia. And another amazing thing is that unlike America, and this may be surprising to Hasan, it is not as easy to get away with being an illegal migrant to these countries. So if you try to illegally migrate to Japan or Korea, very good luck to you, sir, because likely you will end up in the cell next to Johnny Somali, aka Ramzi Khalid Ismail, if you try that in Korea. It's not going to go well for you.
Yep.
So I would insist that perhaps the only person that perhaps between the two of us would be a passport bro is the individual who visited Berlin solely for the purpose of going to a brothel. But that's neither.
Man, there it is. Asmongold looked into it and there was no evidence of there ever being children present at the brothel. Well, one, proof, and two, if one side never uses evidence and uses lies as their weapons, don't be surprised when the other side stoops to their level. Yeah, because I'll be real, guys. Do you know how much evidence and proof there is of 99% of the things coming out of Hasan's mouth? Zero. You want to play dirty, I'll play dirty too. It's great, isn't it? We'll kill each other at the same time. It's awesome. We'll just keep running it down over and over and over again.
Neither here nor there.
Asmon did not look into it. He just heard Hasan lying about it. Well, look at that. Isn't this fun?
Let's continue.
Who offers fucking courses on becoming a passport bro, who primarily fucking streams on Rumble.
Neither one of those things are true. I do not have a single course on becoming a passport bro, and I do not primarily stream on Rumble. I only stream on YouTube. So, yeah, there we go.
Why do you guys come in here and ask for this stuff? It's never going to happen.
And that's the great point. I'm going to leave it right there. It's never going to happen because Hasan lacks the capacity to actually address real issues and to actually respond to legal or objective arguments because he's incapable of doing that. Not only because he's not a lawyer, even a non-lawyer can make an argument, can make a policy position, can say this should be this way for XYZ, but because he needs to discredit others by ad hominem in order to try to win an intellectual argument. And frankly, that's at the lowest level of argumentation. But one thing he really can't argue with is the law. And in fact, there's a California law, which was pointed out by a California...
Just say the law is a rapist. Just say the law is a pedophile. Yeah, see how that goes in court, Hasan. Let's see how that works, man.
Lawyer...
Say the law sexually assaulted you, man. Oh, the law doesn't agree with me because the law is a sexual predator. When I was 8 years old, after my Nepo dad gave me my 9th Lamborghini, the law, it touched my genitalia. Oh, okay. Is the law in the room with us right now, Hasan? Is it in here?
Friend of mine, where that shows that he may have violated this statute, 653.2. involving electronic cyber harassment. So this is the statute which reads, every person who with the intent to place another in reasonable fear of his safety. So if you have the intention to scare somebody else, to place them in fear of their safety or the safety of that person's family by means of an electronic communication device, a computer, or a cell phone, and without the consent of the other person, and for the purpose of imminently causing that other person unwanted physical contact, injury, or harassment by a third party, electronically distributes, publishes, emails, hyperlinks, or makes available for downloading personal identifying information, including but limited to a digital image of that other person, or an electronic message of a harassing nature about that other person, which would be likely to incite or produce that unlawful.
This ambulance chaser isn't suing anyone. Hasan is completely within his constitutional rights to say what he wants. Freedom of speech does not allow damaging speech. That's just not how that works. If you can't just go and accuse people of being a criminal. You can't do that. That's not how freedom of speech works. It's the same type of rights that protect people from other people saying in a movie theater, "There's a fire! Everybody run!" You can't say things that are actively harming other people, especially when you know they're not true. That's just not how that works. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences.
Action. So he put out that photo and he engaged in those actions with the intent to instill fear in that other individual. So that individual could look into contacting California law enforcement, could look into that pertaining to Hasan and take action thereby. Very interesting and something for him to worry about, but of course, only if he addresses the real issues. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one.
What do I think? I think Hasan is a 45-year-old bald retard. That's what I think. Like, comment, subscribe.